This podcast is brought to you by listeners like you through Patreon and Coffee.com. Thank you. We're also brought to you by Libris Arcana. Stay tuned during this podcast for more information and promo codes. And, you notice that this thing is making basically a straight shot toward Orzag. And did you give it a town name or anything?
No, I just said Orzag.
Yeah, it's just going straight there. And you notice that it knocks everything out of the way. Like, School of Fish run out of its way. Like, you go by ships, and they just watch curiously as you kind of speedboat across. Like, seabirds just suddenly appear out of the ocean. You see just all sorts of manner of sea life that you probably wouldn't have seen before just leap out of the way of this large, just Titan-esque creature. And once the sun rises up, you realize how big this is, and that it's literally just laying flat down. You're on its, like, head abouts, and you keep looking and looking for many, like, a few miles, and you can still see its shadow just underneath the surface.
Damn.
Yeah. And you can see that this thing literally is wearing, like, almost embedded into its skin, just centuries of shipwrecks and what seems to be treasure.
I'm deeply disturbed by this experience.
Good. And as you approach the lands of Orzag and see these spires of all the cities in the distance, it stops and lets the momentum just kind of take you the rest of the way. It doesn't say much, but
I wave back at it and shout, "Thank you!"
And you can feel one last breath it breathes on you.
Ugh.
And maybe, just maybe, slight change within you.
What the? Did I accidentally become a warlock? What happened?
Just a boon. Nothing important.
Okay.
Nothing weird. You might have gills eventually, but you're
Oh
okay.
my god, no.
So yeah, Taz, you feel just the breath of this demigod all over you. And,
do I have any idea who or what that was?
Give me a religion check.
All right.
15?
Pretty good.
That's pretty good. Training as a bard, you hear a lot of weird tales, especially since you're someone who's lived by the coast for such a long time. You've heard of a being that some people basically call the Judge, that goes along to all the ocean civilizations to basically be the final word in disputes between underwater kingdoms. You kind of gather from what you've seen and the many descriptions that you've heard that this was the judge of the ocean.
That's terrifying.
Yeah, it's a thing that can destroy undersea kingdoms pretty good, and probably ships in a single tail swipe.
All right, I'm gonna do what I do best and compartmentalize.
Taz, after your trip with the Judge of the Ocean, you find yourself on the west coast of Orzak. If your sister still lives in your hometown of Zephyros, then she is hundreds of miles away on the other side, on the east coast of Orzak. You know from prior experience, all of the coast of Orzak is dotted by small towns and villages, with buildings that are hunkered up or even built into the slopes and the cliffs near the ocean. Because of these cliffs, there are sudden drops, large cliffs. Oceans have basically drilled their way into these cliff sides. There are many hazards like falling rocks, stuff like that. And because of this, the roads are more on the interior of the country than on the coast. But you can still try to travel along the beaches and cliff sides if you really want to. But most people, their preferred way to travel from town to town that are by the ocean is by boat. You also know from experience and from your parents being merchants that you can follow the interior roads and that it's a lot safer to travel with a caravan or in groups. And one reason it's a little dangerous to travel on your own is that in some of these cities, there are still families of wizards that try to get control at any cost. Some have peace treaties with each other and can coexist, others can't. And you know the main wizard families are the Austere, the Halsters, the Folias, the Giovannis, and the Burbellis. These are usually the more nicer, benevolent ones, but also they all, except for the Austeres, deal in slavery. And that means if you travel through their towns, there's a good chance that someone could knock you over the head if you're traveling alone, and, well, bad things happen. But since your parents were merchants and you had some rides with them, you knew their friends, they're probably still around, you can easily take a caravan trip across country and be safe. Do you want to try to go with the caravan across the country of Warzag? Do you think that sounds like a good option?
That's what I'll do then.
So, is your main goal to get back home to see your sister, or
At this point, yeah. She's kind of done. She's really done with life, the universe, and everything. So she's going home.
we're going to pause things for a moment and have a word from our sponsors. This podcast is brought to you by listeners like you through Patreon and Coffee.com. Thank you. We're also brought to you by Libris Arcana. Do you like role-playing games but you have no dice? Are you a dice dragon and just need a hoard dice? Libris Arcana has you covered. Libris Arcana offers both a monthly and quarterly subscription to get dice. Yeah, that's right. They send you dice monthly or every 3 months. They also sell individual dice sets and great leather protective book covers for your gaming manuals. Go to www.librisarcana.com. That's LIBRISARCANA.com to find out more. And if you use the promo code SwordfallFan, you get a discount. Look in the description below for more details. And now back to the story. Okay. First give me a survival check, and then we'll have you roll some dice to see how many days it
Oh boy.
gets
Survival?
you there. Yep, survival. Well, it's not bad.
Could be worse.
Could be worse. Now this one, you might want like a really low roll on. I might add a few days if it's too low. Roll me 2d4.
Okay, alright. 5.
Actually sounds about right to travel from there along the roads all the way to the west coast.
Just 5 days of being very pissed and very alone.
Well, you probably found at least a caravan or something to take you down. Actually, roll me a 1d20. Let's just see how your luck is along the way.
Oh, I'm lucky, actually. I have the lucky feat, so if that influences anything.
You know, I'm going to say, since you do have a lucky feat, things do go your way. Because you'd probably make it go your way anyways. So, what would be the best case scenario once you get into a city? Would it be finding like your parents' old friends' caravan, or?
Yeah, probably. Just find someone who's traveling. I'd probably want a large group of people, probably merchants, and I can be like, I'm entertaining, and also I can use a sword, so take me with you.
Yeah. And, you know, some people recognize you. They're like, oh yeah, you're
I can be pretty damn persuasive when I put my mind to it as well.
Trying to remember if your parents even had names.
I don't remember. I don't know if I gave them names or not.
Oh, your daughter. Okay. Yeah, so you find a caravan, you travel, you hit like the big cities along the way. By some of the what they call seas, just really big freaking lakes. So you make your way from like Onville, then Bayshore, Bismont, Tibble, then you just kind of go along the coast, and you eventually make it back to your hometown.
Okay. As soon as I arrive, Zephyra.
Zephyra, that's right.
As soon as I get there, the first thing I'm gonna do is look for Elena. And last I heard, she was working at a tavern, so I'm gonna go there first.
This being your hometown, you know that there's several different districts. You know that the main ruling wizard family, they're pretty good. Basically, they're like part of the city, their territory. They don't have slaves. They forbid anyone in that part to have any. But you do know that there's the crappier part of town, kind of ruled by ruled by some minor wizard families who are kind of like the rest of the wizards, who are like, hey, anything goes as long as you pay the taxes.
Mm,
Um, so I'm going to assume that she was probably in the nicer part of town.
yeah.
What was the tavern called?
The Lucky Clover?
You get there, you look for the Lucky Clover. You find its remains burnt down to the ground, which is odd because a lot of the city is made out of like clay and metal and some really fine, thick, like ironwood. But on the other hand, there's a lot of like magic fire that happens, so the Lucky Clover wasn't so lucky.
Yeah. Well. Hmm. Okay. What to do next? I will head for the inn that Elodora frequents whenever she's in town.
Alright. And what is this place called?
Oh, geez. The Lamia.
The Lamia?
Yes.
Okay. So you go in. It's still like as lovely furnished because I'm guessing Elidora would not be in a bad place.
Elodora is a classy lady.
Yes, she is. Um, it's all silk drapes and cushy pillows, and there's always some bard about. If it isn't Elidora, it's somebody else. But how long has it been since you've been to your hometown?
Oh, a couple of years. 3? Question mark?
Yeah, that sounds good. So you go in, and you notice there's been a slight modification to the inn's name. Now it says Elidora's the Lamia.
So she bought the place. Um, kind of don't expect her to be there, but I'm gonna give it a shot anyway.
So you get in. The place is wafting with just lovely incense, and there is a nice sitting room, which is mainly comprised of pillows. And there's a person standing there. It's not really a desk, but it's more or less like a table, and they stand up and greet you. Hello, welcome to the Lemia.
Hi. Um, I'm looking for Elidora if she's here.
Isn't everyone looking for Elidora?
Well, fair enough. Is she in?
Let me check. And you are
Taz. Mockwell.
Taz Mockwell. And the person starts to think something. You can see all the screws, like all the cogs and wheels in their head turning as if there was something important to that name. And they get like a small scroll and unscroll it. Oh, you're on the preferred list. Go up the stairs, all the way to the top. There is a penthouse. This is like only a 3-story building, so
So the view is certainly lovely.
yeah.
Well, thank you for your help. And I will head for the stairs.
And she tries to like say you're welcome, Miss Mockwell, and like she gets the person gets suddenly all grovelly, once you're like, yeah, I'm Taz. So you make your way up, and it's an inn where bards hang out. It seems to be a little bit more relaxed, I guess would be the word, than what you remember. Especially since, now Elidor has taken control. And you hear certain amount of noises that probably wouldn't be there before. Though it's not a whorehouse.
Yeah. Has his whole mentality is like, I don't have time for this shit.
And yeah, you make your way up, keep going up and up, and you finally make it to the roof. And it looks like a newer structure has been built up on top of this. It's almost like a greenhouse and a regular home kind of smashed into one structure. So the front of it is all made out of glass, has a lot of plants. It's unlocked, and you go in there, and there's actually a few fancy looking birds, with just the full birds of paradise plumage and stuff inside here. It is warm. It is what's the word? Lots of air vapor.
Humid?
Humid. That's the word. It is humid, and there are a lot of lovely looking plants just out and about. This definitely was not here 3 years ago.
Pretty. Is Elidora here?
Give me a perception check. This podcast is powered by listeners like you. Thanks. Please like, comment, rate, share, and subscribe wherever you can. Consider supporting us through Patreon, Ko-fi.com, or by hitting the listener support button on our Anchor.fm page. Follow and interact with us on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and Discord. For all these links, look in the description below. If you liked our podcast, consider listening to these other great podcasts.
So gather your muskets, gather your spears, we'll plunder the shores of Calcinear.
Come all ye sailors and scallywags, and join the crew of Flintlocks and Fireballs, a D&D podcast following a band of privateers sailing the seas of Napoleonic Calcinia. Catch us at flintlocksandfireballs.com every Tuesday at 7 p.m. GMT, or on Podbean, iTunes, YouTube, and more. You can also follow us on Facebook at Flintlocks and Fireballs, or Twitter on @FlintlocksDND. Fair seas and natural 20s.
No kraken, storm, or spell we fear, so come and sail with us, my dear.